Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to welcome you to the University of Manchester today and to the splendid surroundings of the Whitworth Hall for this graduation ceremony. I'd particularly like to welcome our graduands whose achievements and hard work we're here to celebrate today. I'd also like to welcome the family and friends of our graduands, many of whom have travelled long distances to be here. We particularly welcome you to the university and thank you for the help, support and encouragement that you've given to these, our graduands, during their studies. Most of the students collecting their medical degree today, of course, have followed the traditional path of coming to university fairly soon after leaving school, but I would particularly like to welcome our mature students. I think the process of studying one subject, perhaps being in the workplace for many years, then going back to medical school and obtaining a medical degree is a tough one, but very well worthwhile. Also, I'd particularly like to welcome our overseas students and graduands. Many of their friends and family, of course, will not be here, but I hope will be watching us on the webcast internationally. I am particularly pleased to welcome back today one of our former students, Professor Alan Emery, who has enjoyed a highly distinguished career in the field of neuromuscular genetics and has received many honours and held many prestigious positions, including Chief Advisor to the European Neuromuscular Centre. It is a great privilege to have Alan with us today, and we are delighted to honour him with an Outstanding Alumnus Award during this ceremony. We will return to that soon. We hope today that will go down as a landmark day in all of your lives, and it's certainly been a landmark year for the University of Manchester. And I've just picked out three things that have happened during the year. One, on a light note, is that a team from this university won the University Challenge title for 2006. The Manchester team beat Trinity Hall, Cambridge, good, in one of the most absorbing finals ever seen on the television, winning by 160 points to 150. And it's the first time that Manchester has ever won the popular quiz since it was on the television first 40 years ago. This was actually broadcast in the late spring, but in fact recorded many, many months earlier, and a very senior person in the media actually leaked the result to me about a week after the recording, and I had to keep very quiet for a long time. Another high point in the year is to note that the university remains very high in the popularity league. We have received almost 62,000 applications for its undergraduate courses starting in September 2006. That figure is almost identical to last year based on home and overseas applications, and confirms that Manchester is one of the country's top destinations for would-be undergraduate students. And those numbers are all the more pleasing because, of course, there will be concerns over the introduction of higher tuition fees in September. A third highlight, and of the many I might mention, is that the new core technology facility, £25 million worth of building, was opened very recently by Lord Sainsbury. And in particular, this space will support research in tissue engineering, techniques that have the potential for altering our practice in future years. And the facility does have facilities for encouraging commercial exploitation of this kind of university research so that inventions can be taken into the healthcare system. My colleagues on the platform know that I tend to talk about history, and I think we must remember that you are part of a glorious history. The medical school dates its foundation certainly back to 1824, probably to 1814 and perhaps before that. And so as a graduate in medicine from the University of Manchester, you're joining a very distinguished Hall of Fame. Staff and students from all the subjects in the university, 22 of them have gone on to win the Nobel Prize. Perhaps there may be one in this audience today for the future. And your prospects as a medical graduate from the University of Manchester are excellent. Our colleagues worldwide recognise that excellence. The medical school of this university is known for very many things, and I hear its reputation in London, elsewhere in the UK, and more widely and abroad. But one of the things that is right at the top of our reputation is the quality of our graduates. If you can recruit someone who trained in Manchester, you're doing well. Your achievement in completing your degree cannot be underestimated, and you and your families and friends will feel very proud of this accomplishment. The university is also proud that it has been able to take you through to this stage. I'm pleased to report that despite the recent industrial action that you may have read about in the national media, this university did not cancel any examinations and maintained the scholarly integrity of the examination process, and thus the value of a degree from the University of Manchester. While mentioning the many interesting things that go on, I always, on these occasions, must welcome our colleagues from the University of St Andrews, who very kindly come to this ceremony, because we will have, amongst our medical graduates here, a number who began their medical training in St Andrews. I say to new medical students when they arrive that a university isn't buildings and money and equipment, it's people, it's a family of people, and you have been part of that community for the last few years, and you will remain a part of that community as you move on. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the start of your professional journey. And we're very pleased to welcome you to what's now a network of more than 200,000 alumni, the university's global community. The Alumni Association allows you to continue your relationship with the university, with your current friends, and indeed to make new ones, and you can interact and network with alumni in many ways at a personal and professional level. We very much hope that you're leaving your current email address on the note that you've received so that you'll be in touch with the Global Alumni Network, Your Manchester Online, I'm told. You also receive a free annual magazine. You'll be invited to social events, reunions and the like. And if you work abroad, the Alumni Association is active overseas with branches in many countries. So, please do not make today your last contact with the university, and keep the alumni office regularly updated with your current address. And this is your university. Its doors are open to you all the time. On the occasions when we have graduation for medical students becoming doctors, of course it's quite a symbolic moment. As you walk across the stage, you come on as a student and you emerge as a doctor. And I think that's a sobering thought. At a personal, very sobering. At a personal level, I'm particularly sorry that this and the ceremony this afternoon will be the last two that I'll do in my capacity as Dean of the Medical Faculty. I'm moving sideways and elsewhere within the university. But it's been a delight to have been associated with the medical school over the last 7 years. So, on behalf of the university, I congratulate all of you who are graduating here today on your excellent academic achievement, and I wish you every success in your future careers. Thank you. And I'd now like to call on Professor Andrew Reid, who will introduce our outstanding alumnus.
Well, President and Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, every year the University of Manchester's Alumni Association spends many hours discussing which of our former students should be presented with an award for their outstanding contribution to mankind. These discussions can often take a long time to conclude, but this year, one man's name was top of everyone's list. The award of Outstanding Alumnus goes to one of our former students who has achieved particular distinction in their field, or who has brought honour to the university through their outstanding service. There can be little doubt that Professor Alan Eglin Heathcote Emery deserves the award in 2006. Professor Emery is widely recognised as one of the founding fathers in the field of medical genetics. He obtained a first-class honours undergraduate degree here at Manchester and has gone on to a highly distinguished career in the field of neuromuscular genetics. Professor Emery has received many honours and held prestigious positions, including the President of the British Clinical Genetics Society and Chief Scientific Advisor for the European Neuromuscular Centre. He's also a Fellow of Green College, Oxford, with an annual lecture endowed in his name. But Professor Emery faced a difficult road to reach the University of Manchester back in the late 40s. Coming from humble beginnings, he had to obtain scholarships to study firstly at Manchester Grammar and then at the university itself. He studied botany and zoology, not medicine, as a student, and on graduating from Manchester in 1952, he spent some years in research and teaching before obtaining a medical qualification in 1960, also from Manchester. After House Officer post just down the road at the MRI, he studied at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore and chose to specialize in medical genetics. In one of his early publications, he established the biological basis for manifestations of muscular dystrophy in women who are carriers of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which normally you'd expect only to affect boys. 2 years later, he described the condition which was subsequently named Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy, and when the gene responsible for it was identified, the gene product was called Emerin in his honor. Now, it's not everybody who has a protein named after them. And you might like to think that every one of you now has Emerin working silently away in you, keeping you healthy, and if it wasn't working, you too would have Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy, and Professor Emery would no doubt grab you for his research, but you're spared that fate. On his return from the USA, as a consultant physician and senior lecturer, he established a genetic clinic in Manchester, one of the first such clinics for adults with genetic disorders in the UK. He also developed the concept of an integrated diagnostic, management and research approach to genetics, which is still adhered to by the 200+ members of the medical genetics unit in Manchester today, a very big joint university and NHS unit. In 1968, he became professor and chairman of the Department of Human Genetics of the University of Edinburgh, later emeritus professor. He's a former president of the British Clinical Genetics Society, and in 2000 he was appointed chief scientific advisor for the European Neuromuscular Centre. Professor Emery is a prolific writer and has published more than 200 scientific papers. He's the author of many essential international texts, including Emery's Elements of Medical Genetics, an undergraduate textbook no doubt known to many of you in this hall, now in its 12th edition, and Emery and Rimoin's Principles and Practice of Medical Genetics, which is a huge multi-volume reference work, now in its 5th edition. He continues to be productive and has written over 35 papers since his 70th birthday, many of them concerning history, art, and genetics. So here at the university, we're understandably proud that Professor Emery's commitment to the cause and his passion for his subject began here in Manchester, and we hope that his drive and vision can be an inspiration for our medical students for many years to come, just as I would say it was for me when I started in medical genetics. So Alan, we're delighted that you've been able to come and share this special occasion with us today and to accept this prestigious award. So Vice President and Dean, I present to you for the Award of Outstanding Alumnus, Professor Alan Eglin Heathcote Emery.
Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, I'm delighted and deeply honored by this award, and it's a particular pleasure to receive it during the School of Medicine's Graduate Day. Actually, I had to produce this, you see, because they need it in black and white, but I'm delighted that Andrew gave this talk because he's really a highlight in genetics in the world. And interestingly, he still can't say my name. And I remember when I graduated here the first time, which I think was 1947, anyway, whenever it was, the students used to sit at the top here, and when they read out my name, which is a long mouthful, they all laughed and guffawed and threw toilet paper. Well, that didn't happen today, and presumably they're better educated students now than they were. But for various reasons, you heard that I entered medicine rather late in life. In fact, I qualified at the age of 32, and there didn't seem very many opportunities at that time, career-wise. And then the professor of medicine was Robert Platt, who became Lord Platt, very distinguished man indeed. and he convinced me that perhaps I should try medical genetics. And this was a very, very new subject in the 1950s, but he forecast, quite rightly of course, that it would have increasing importance in future. So as you heard, I went to the United States for postgraduate training and research in the subject, never dreaming that one day it would play such a very major role in the whole of medicine and surgery. In fact, I'm reminded of a famous quotation from another famous Mancunian, Lord Rutherford. Well, actually, he wasn't a Mancunian, but he was professor of physics here when he got the Nobel Prize in 1908. And in his acceptance speech, and I quote, "All science is now physics or stamp collecting." Well, some might now say, all medicine is genetics or stamp collecting. Think about it. It's certainly changed the whole subject in the last few years. As many of you will know, we now have, though you won't remember them all, some 15,000 genetic disorders have been identified. Over 2,000 genes have been cloned and analyzed in detail, generating several thousand tests, and incidentally, over 1 million patents. The results have led to a much better understanding of how diseases develop, their treatment, hopefully one day, and of course, most importantly, diagnosis, both in adults as well as in utero. Now, as you embark on what, in my opinion, still is the most satisfying and rewarding of all the professions, perhaps some of you may choose a career path, perhaps at present less popular than the others, but with potential in the future. Some of you will do that, I'm sure, just as I did, and never regretted it. But whatever you decide to do, I wish you every success, and remind you of another saying by an English poet, William Blake, of the 18th century. Remember this: kiss the joy that flies. Thank you, and good luck.
Vice President, on behalf of the Senate of the University, I present to you for the posthumous degree of Doctor of Medicine, Stephen John Langley. Now, before I ask Professor Kustovich to collect the award on behalf of Dr. Langley's family, I'd like to read a few words about Dr. Langley. Dr. Stephen John Langley, a graduate of the Manchester MB-CHB programme in 1983, commenced his Doctor of Medicine research degree at the North West Lung Research Centre at Wythenshawe Hospital in September 2002, where he was also a valued member of staff. Tragically, after a short illness, Stephen passed away in February 2005, and I know he is missed greatly by both his family and colleagues, some of whom are in attendance today. At the time of Stephen's death, he had completed his research and produced work of a standard which left the examiners in no doubt that he would have successfully completed his MD. I would therefore now like to present for the degree of Doctor of Medicine to be awarded posthumously to Stephen Langley and ask one of his supervisors, Professor Adnan Kustovich, to collect the award on his behalf. Vice President, on behalf of the Senate of the University, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, Timothy Martin Andrews. Christopher Brew. Anne-Marie Henry. Christopher John Lewis. Anja Naheed.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Colin John White.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Naveed Yunus.
Well done. Delighted.
And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Vishal Raghuveer Kumar Agrawal.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Azza Aglan.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Catherine Morfin Barrow.
Very well done.
Catherine Branson.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Anna Jane Coleman.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Annemiek Coops.
Well done. Delighted.
Michelle Desforges.
Well done. Delighted.
Andrew Robert Dodgson.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Ian John Fletcher.
Very well done.
Claudia Gore.
Well done. Many congratulations. Very pleased.
Robin Bryan Gore.
Well done. Delighted.
Denise Kathleen Holmes.
Very, very congratulations. Well done.
Sasha Howell.
Well done.
Man Ching Huang.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Claire Elizabeth Johnson.
Many congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Elizabeth Jane Kingsley.
Very well done. Delighted.
Cleona Claire Kerwin.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Panachit Kitipanya Nagam.
Many congratulations. Delighted.
Ryan James Metcalf.
Excellent. I'm very pleased.
Jenny Elizabeth Myers.
Very well done. Delighted.
Mumtaz Patel.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Joanne Prothero.
Very well. Very pleased.
Sudeep Parameshwar Pushpakam.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Lord Christian Sudre.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Gemma Kate Thornton.
Well done. Delighted.
Jill Elizabeth Urquhart.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Sakutra Vera Reddy.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Terence Brian Willard.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Gwenlillian Wynne Jones.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Ali Yalfani.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Ziyi Zhu.
Very well done. Congratulations.
And for the degree of Master of Research, Jane Suzanne Thorpe.
Hold on. Congratulations.
And for the degree of Master of Science, Shema Al-Karim Al-Thari.
Congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Nicholas Dorbar. Alithia Regina Jimenez.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Samantha Dimuthu Kumari Flynn.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Salman Karim.
Many congratulations. Very pleased.
And for the degree of Master in Population Health Evidence, Siu Hua Lee.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Claire Noor.
Congratulations. Well done.
And for the degree of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery with honours, Riza Aga Mohammed Zadeh.
Well done.
Michael James Anderton.
Very well done. Congratulations.
Victoria Barker.
Very well done. Congratulations.
Laura Margaret Burgess.
Many congratulations. Very pleased.
Fiona Mary Byrne.
Very well done.
Jeremy Stephen Cosgrove.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Victoria Emily Curd.
Many congratulations. Very well done.
Andrew Keith Dickinson.
Is it good to shake that? Well done.
James Robert Hannison.
Very well done. Congratulations.
Catherine Ellen Louise Harding.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Ashley John Hay.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Samantha Kate Hoey.
Well done, thanks. Okay.
Catherine Ellen Hooks.
Well done. Very pleased.
Stephanie Jane Ingram.
Well done. I'm delighted. Good.
Timothy Benjamin Jackson.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Sarah Louise Keeley.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
And for the degree, Rupali Acharya.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Arash Muzaffari Afshar.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Shadia Afsalmia.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Jessica Agrawal.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Hoa Louise Agua Gaspar.
Very well done. Many congratulations.
Nashaba Ahmed.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Lucy Ainsworth.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Majid Al Abdullah.
Many congratulations. Very well done.
Aisha Al Busadi.
Nice that you have such nice friends.
Rubina Ali Malik.
Very many congratulations.
Myra Moen Al-Jilani.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Amira Al-Kabi.
Very well done.
Jonathan Fenwick Allen.
Well done.
Ryan Alexander Anderton.
Very many congratulations. Well done.
Mohammed Saqib Anwar.
Very well done.
Saida Anwar.
Many congratulations. Very well done.
Sarah Christine Armstrong.
I'm delighted. Well done.
Nazia Perveen Ashraf.
Many congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Alan Askari.
Delighted. Very well done.
Fawad Mushtaba Ben Azam.
Very well done. Delighted.
Atia Azmi.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Gurpreet Singh Badisha.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Reem Abdullah Bawan.
Well done.
Stephen Thomas Edward Ball.
Very many congratulations. Well done.
Daniel Benjamin Anthony Banks.
Many congratulations. Very well done.
Kate Lucinda Barnabas.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Victoria Louise Barnes.
Congratulations. Very pleased.
Jennifer Barry.
You made it. Well done.
Scott Fraser Beatty.
That's a good cheer. Well done.
Mark Joseph Benson.
Well done. Congratulations.
Neil Batt.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Charlotte Bills.
Well done. Congratulations.
Anna Elizabeth Bishop.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Oliver Nicholas James Toby Blightman.
I'm delighted. Very well done.
Sarah Daisy Helena Bone.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Chen Sang Boon.
Very many congratulations. Well done.
Michael Bowes.
Well done. Congratulations.
Carl Andrew Braid.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Matthew Anthony Bramley.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Victoria Helen Bramwell.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Sophie Bryce Bennett.
Congratulations and well done.
Jennifer Louise Bright.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Anna Rachel Butler.
Well done, and extremely pleased.
Anthony Ki Chung Chan.
Well done, many congratulations.
Harriet Cheney.
Well done, I'm delighted.
Mazhar Chowdhury.
Very many congratulations. Well done.
Daniel Paul Cheong.
Well done. I'm very pleased. Well done.
Vincent Kwok Liang Chan.
Well done, I'm delighted for you.
Robert Kin Yan Chiu.
Well done, excellent.
Kiang Chong.
Very pleased, well done.
Arun Kumar Chauhan.
Many congratulations.
Laura Jane LaRue Clark.
Very well done, I'm delighted.
Christine Clinton.
Very well done, I'm very pleased.
Rachel Jane Collins.
Well done.
Susanna Louise Collins.
Very well done, many congratulations.
Jenny Louise Cooper.
I'm delighted, well done.
Michelle Cooper.
Well done, I'm very pleased.
Calvin James Cowie.
Many congratulations, well done.
Oliver Lewis Cram.
Very well done.
Graham Thomas Hunter Crippen.
Many congratulations, well done.
Jennifer Ann Cunningham.
Very well done, I'm very pleased.
Ria Nanette Dahl.
Well done.
Dipankar Das.
Well done, many congratulations.
Catriona Elizabeth Davies.
I'm delighted, well done.
Kuan Raja Dharmaraja.
Well done, I'm very pleased.
Angela DK.
Very well done, I'm extremely pleased.
Amila Dipti Disanarki.
Very well done, I'm delighted.
Rebecca Louisa Dodd.
Well done, I'm very pleased.
Jennifer Marie Dodman.
Well done, delighted.
Claire Doherty.
Very well done, delighted.
Stephen Donlan.
Many congratulations, very pleased.
Alethea Joy Francis Drain.
Very well done, very pleased.
Amanda Duplock.
Very well done, very pleased.
Thomas George Evans.
Many congratulations, delighted.
Jonathan Fenwick.
Well done, very pleased.
Donna Marie Fincham.
Well done, delighted.
Angus King Yu Fong.
Very well done, very pleased.
Andrew James Foster.
Biggest cheer yet, well done.
Louise Miriam Friedman.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Louise Elizabeth Furnival.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Ushma Kadvi.
Many congratulations. Very pleased.
Peter John Gash.
Well done. Delighted.
Shadi Andy Gazelle.
Many congratulations. Very pleased.
Sutapa Ghosh.
Very pleased.
Indu Giridharan.
Well done. I'm extremely pleased.
Gemma Louise Goby.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Stuart Fraser Gordon.
Well done. Another Dr. Gordon.
Emma Naomi Goto.
Very well done. I'm extremely pleased.
Claudia Barbara Goen.
Many congratulations. I'm delighted.
David John Gracie.
Well done. Many congratulations. Now, look at that.
Louise Nzinga Grant.
Very well done. I'm extremely pleased.
Victoria Ann Gray.
Very well done. Delighted.
Amit Kumar Gupta.
Many congratulations. I'm delighted.
Lowry Gwynn.
Excellent. Well done.
Christina Jo Haig.
Well done.
Louise Hamill.
Many congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Nicholas James Ian Hamilton.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Patrick Alexander Hamilton.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Ludfar Begum Harris.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Jessica Alice Harris.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Rodri John Harris.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Alistair Velanaworth Hayes.
Congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Hiba Tul Hayi.
Many congratulations. I'm very pleased.
Sharon Claire Heap.
Very well done. Delighted.
Andrew John Heck.
Very well done. Delighted.
Bernadette Marie Higgins.
Congratulations. Very well done.
Trung Bin Hoang.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Andrew David Hobbins King.
Well done. Excellent.
Nicholas Howard.
Many congratulations. I'm very pleased. Well done.
Taheen Huda.
I'm delighted. Well done.
Bernadette Maureen Hugon.
Lovely. Very well done. Delighted.
Peter Hume.
Congratulations. Well done.
Natalie Hurley.
Well done.
Saika Hussain.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Sairul Nazrim Idris.
Well done. I'm delighted.
Chanathani Ilavaragan.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Emma Ingram.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Lindsay Susan Ines.
Very well done. Delighted.
Tanzim Akhtar Iqbal.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Shabana Ershad.
Nice to have friends. Well done.
Andra Roy Jackson.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Matthew James Jackson.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Matthew William Paul Jackson.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Oliver Charles Michael Jackson.
Many congratulations. Very well done.
Lakshmi Rani Jain.
Well done. Very pleased.
Amir Jahangir.
Well done. Congratulations.
Aranita Jahar.
Well done. Very pleased.
Mark Johnson.
Well done. Very pleased.
Simon James Jones.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Thomas Alexander Jorner.
Well done. Very pleased.
Ama Seward Judson.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Constantinos Canaris.
And many congratulations. Very pleased.
Shamil Karim.
Many congratulations. Very pleased.
Richard Katz.
Many congratulations. Well done.
David Pundit Kaushal.
Very well done. I'm delighted.
Jane Louise Kennedy.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
Shazia Khalil.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Riaz Ahmed Khan.
Many congratulations. Good.
Shama Khan.
Very well done. I'm very pleased.
Anna Teresa King.
Very well done. Very pleased.
Chitragupta Kumar.
Very well done.
Keen Moon Yin Kwa.
Well done. Congratulations.
Sabine Ulhak.
Well done. I'm very pleased.
I would like the graduates in Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery now to stand, please. I'm going to read an affirmation on your behalf, and at the end of which I would like you to say, I so affirm. I affirm that I will make the care of my patients my first concern, treat every patient politely and considerately, Respect patients' dignity and privacy. Listen to patients and respect their views. Give patients information in a way they can understand. Respect the right of patients to be fully involved in decisions about their care. Keep my professional knowledge and skills up to date. Recognise the limits of my professional competence. Be honest and trustworthy. Respect and protect confidential information. Make sure my personal beliefs do not prejudice my patients' care. Act quickly to protect my patients from risk if I have good reason to believe that I or a colleague may not be fit to practice. Avoid abuse of my position as a doctor. Work with colleagues in the way that best serve patients' interest. In all these matters, I will never discriminate unfairly against my patients or colleagues. I will always be prepared to justify my actions to them. I so affirm. If you could repeat after me. I so affirm.
Today we have celebrated the award of your degrees. Many congratulations. On behalf of the University of Manchester, I extend to each of you our very best wishes for the future. I now declare this ceremony closed.